Hi everyone, Monique here with Little Gems Creations 1. Today we are going to be making a small lady's hat, and we're going to start that in just a moment. I'm Monique here with Little Gems Creations 1. Today we are going to be making a small lady's hat. You are going to need a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, and you are going to use some this is Soft Gray Heather by Burnett, and it recommends this size hook, and it is 100% acrylic, 4-ply worsted weight. Yeah, so that's what we know. So we're using this, and then we're going to use a scrap bit of pink to do a flower at the end. Okay, so luckily this one has the thread pointing out of the center, like that never happens to me. So we're going to take this, and we're going to work this sweater from the top down. So we're going to start by crossing our yarn, and we are going to chain 2. Okay, now in that first chain that you did, we're going to put our crochet hook. We're going to make sure we catch that tail, and we're going to do 6 single crochets into that same place. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now we're going to slip stitch into that first stitch. Okay, so we're slip stitching in. We're going to chain up 1. Okay, now if we did our tail right, we can pull and it cinches up that hole, which it absolutely did. Okay, so now for our next round, we're going to increase by 6. And the way we're going to do that is we're just going to put 2 stitches in every stitch round for a total of 12. So we're going to go 1, 2 into 1 stitch, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, now we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch and chain up 1. So to start off, we did 6 into that first stitch. Then we did 2 in every stitch around for a total of 10. So we were working in multiples of 2. Now, you're probably asking why I'm explaining it that way. And the reason is we are going to keep increasing. Pardon me. We are going to keep increasing every round until we get to 54 stitches, okay? And we're going to do that in multiples. So this next round, in our first stitch, we're going to put 2, and then in the next stitch, we put 1. So that'll equal 3 stitches. And we're going to do that all the way around until we have 18 stitches. So this is what I mean by multiples. This is how I do it. So 1, 2 in the same stitch, and then 3, which is the end of my multiple, is a single stitch. 4 and 5 go in the same stitch, and 6, which is a multiple of 3, is a single stitch. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to you guys. If not, you can just go 3, 3, 3, 3, 3 all the way around and then count to make sure you ended up with 18 stitches. But this is how I do it. So I'm at 9. So then I go 10, 11, and 12 is the multiple. So 12 is a single, 12. 13 and 14 are in the same stitch. 15 is the multiple, so it's a single. 16, 17, same stitch. 18 is the multiple. Okay, and that was the end of this round. So now we're going to slip stitch into that first. We're going to chain up 1. So we're always increasing by 6 in each round, and we're increasing our multiples, and that's another way I do it. So if I have to put down my work because I'm going to let the dog out or answer the phone or whatever, your first in here counts as your first multiple. Your second round is 2 multiples, and then this is multiples of 3. And your third round was 3. And then you're going to, so now you know you're going to your 4th round, so you're going to have multiples of 4. So the first 2, 1, 2, are in that first stitch. You always start with 2 stitches in the first stitch. So 2, 3 is a single, and then 4 is the multiple, which is a single. Okay, and then 5 and 6 go in the same stitch. 7 is a single. 8 is the multiple. So this round, you're going from 18 and you're going to add 6. So that will be 24. So do that, and you're going to keep doing this all the way up until you have 54 stitches, okay? So round and round and round and round, adding 6 stitches each row in your multiples. I hope that makes sense. Meet me back when you're done that, you'll have 54 stitches. Done my 9 rounds, and I've come to the end. I'm just going to slip stitch, and then I'm going to chain up 2. Okay, now we are going to make the width of the hat, okay, or not the width, but the part that goes over your ears. So what we're going to do is we're switching to double crochet. So that was all single crochet. Now we're going to do double crochet, and we're just going to go around, work in the rounds. So you're always going to end up with 54 stitches. Do not count the chain 2 as a stitch. Okay, so we're going to do this for 9 rows. Now, I find that when I'm doing rounds, if I just always go into the chain, eventually my stitches start to go diagonally. I don't know why. If you don't have that problem, don't do this trick. But the trick that I do is the first round I go into the chain, and the second round I go into the stitch. Always make sure you have 54 stitches, not counting the chain, but one row you go into the chain, next row you go into the stitch, next row you go into chain, next row you go into the stitch. So do 9 rows of double crochet in the round, going into the chain, into the stitch, and meet me back. For those of you who don't know how to do a double crochet, so you yarn over, you go into the stitch, pull through, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. That's a double crochet. So let's do it again. Yarn over, into the stitch, pull through, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. Okay. Sorry, I told y'all as if you were like expert crocheters, and some of you may not be, so that's how you do a double crochet. So into the stitch, pull through, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over into the stitch, pull through, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. Okay, 9 rows, chain, stitch. So now that I have a stitch, I can show you. So when I finish this row, I'll go into the second chain there. And then when I finish the next row, I'll go into the stitch and I'll skip the chain. And then I'll just keep doing that back and forth. And that keeps my stitches, like my joins, fairly straight. Okay, do that, meet me back. I've done 9 rows. So there's our singles and then our double. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this one, I'm going into the chain. To slip stitch. Okay. So now we're going to chain up 2 like before. But now instead of going into our stitches like we've been doing, now we're going to go around the post. Okay, so we're going around the back of the post for this one, and it's still a double crochet, and the next one we are going around the front of the post. Okay, and then we're going around the back of the post. And then we're going around the front of the post. And we're going to do this for 2 rows. So around the front. And then around the back. Around the front. And around the back. Around the front. Around the back. And see what it's doing is it's giving us this little ridge. Makes it a little bit tighter to your head so it won't move around. So do this for 2 rows and meet me back. Okay, so I've done my 2 rows of that, and now I'm just gonna slip stitch into that chain. Okay. Pull my loop big, cut a tail, pull my tail through my loop, and pull tight. Now there's your hat. Okay, there you go. So that's part 1 of the hat. That's a hat. Completed, hide your threads, that kind of thing. Now, you can put any kind of embellishment on this that you want. We're gonna do a flower today, but I don't know if you can see it. I can see it like plain as day, but this is my where I did my joints, right? So when I place my flower, that's where I put it, right over top of that, and then the rest of the hat is perfect to look at, right? I mean, that's how I do it. It's up to you if you do it like that, however you want to do it. So the next part we're going to do is the flower. So I'm using this yarn. It is so pretty, and I don't know if you can see, but it's kind of got a sparkle in it. It's so pretty. And it is, excuse the label being a bit damaged, but it's Red Heart Comfort, and it is it's 4-ply medium weight, And it's 100% poly acrylic, right? Hold on. Where does it say? Right here. 98% acrylic, 2% other fibers. That's probably the sparkle. Anyway, so we're going to take this yarn. And just like when we started our hat, we're going to cross our yarn. We are going to chain 2. Okay. Now, in that first stitch, and put your tail around, we are going to put 8 single crochets. Okay, 1, 2, and I got this flower pattern off of YouTube, and I put the video that I got it from in my crochet playlist, so you go there and see it. She did it in UK, so her double crochets are our single crochets, and her treble crochets are our double crochets. But I mean, I'm showing you in Canadian way. But so I'm at 6, 7, and 8. Okay, now we're going to slip stitch into that very first stitch, just like we did with the hat. Okay, and if we did our center right, if we grabbed our tail right, when we pull on it, that cinches right up. Okay, if you didn't do it right, no big deal, because later you can just sew it in. So now I'm going to chain 2, and this is going to count as a stitch. And in that, where the chain 2 comes out of, we're going to put 4 double crochets. Okay, so the chain 2 counts as a stitch, and then we're doing 4 more, so we'll have a total of 5 double crochets. Okay, so, and we've just finished doing a whole bunch of double crochets, so you should know how to do that. Okay, so we've got 4 double crochets plus the chain all in one stitch. So now pull your loop big, and looking at your stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which will have you at the chain. I want you to put your crochet hook in there, just the hook. Okay, whoops, come on now. It's the chain, so it's always tricky. Okay, and now that your hook's there, I want you to put your loop back on your hook. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull that through. And I'm doing this around a camera, so it's a bit difficult, but pull it through, okay? And then we chain 1, and that's our first petal. We are going to do this all the way around until we have 8 petals, okay? So the next one, we're doing 5 double crochets in the same stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Make your loop big, count back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in there, we're putting our hook, then we're grabbing our loop, putting it on our hook, and we're using the loop to make a slip stitch, and we're chaining 1. And then we go to the next stitch. And see how I just gave it a tug there to make that stitch pop up? Do that. You can totally manipulate your yarn. So 5 double crochets, make your slip stitch, chain 1. Okay, we're going to do that all the way around. Meet me back. Okay, so I've got my 8 petals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now I need to slip stitch into that chain 2 here. Can you see it? That chain 2 there. Okay, and I'm going to slip stitch into that. Oh, come on. There we go. Now I'm going to chain up 2. 1, 2. I want to do another round, and here's why. When I put my hat, yes, distracts the eye so you don't see this where we joined. But to me, it's not big enough. I want a bigger flower. So we're going to do another round. But that's my reasoning behind it. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Okay, so where we did our join, see how there's this space here? That's from our chain 1. We're going to work, so this chain 2 counts as a stitch. We're going to do 4 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And just like our other petals, we count back. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, because that's our chain, right? So it's going to be a little challenging. Come on. There we go. So we take our loop, put it on there, do a slip stitch. Okay, chain 1. Now we're going to the next space. So you kind of pry your petals apart and you'll have a space. But this time we're doing 2 petals in each space. And when you get around to the other side to the space that we just did a single petal, put another petal to finish off, okay? So when I get to the last 2 here, I'll come and show you how to finish off there. But I mean, if you think you, like, if you can do it with just how I explained, then by all means do that. Okay, so 2 petals in each space. Maybe I'll do 1 space to show you. So we're going to do our 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make our loop big. Count back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put our hook there. Grab our loop. Tighten it up a bit. Pull through. Chain 1. But instead of going to the next stitch, we're going to go into that same stitch and do 5 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Loop big, count back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go into that one. Put your loop on your crochet hook, tighten it up a bit, slip stitch, chain 1. So now you got 2 in 1 space. So now we're just going to reach for the next space and then start our 5 again. So do this all the way around. Meet me back to where we have just the 1. Okay, so I'm ready to do that last one. So it only has 1 in that space. So we're just going to do our double crochets, 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. What? 5. Come on. 5. Make your loop big. Count back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Catch your loop. Do a slip stitch, chain 1, and now you're going into that original chain 1. Or chain 2, sorry. And you're doing a slip stitch into that. Now, you want to leave a really long tail on this because you're going to use it, well, not really long, but a couple of feet, because you're going to use it to sew your flower onto your hat. So pull your tail through your loop, pull tight. Now, grab your darning needle, pull that center one tight. Did I get it? Oh, I missed part of it. sorry, I'm doing this around the camera. There we go. Okay, and now to do this, I go to the center there, I pulled it tight, and I just go back a little bit from where the, see where the yarn is coming out? I go just a little bit behind it, and I'm not going all the way through to the front, I'm just going through the stitches. And then I do it again, a little bit back from where my yarn is, and I'm just going around the circle here. Okay, and I'm going to do that a few times. Okay, and then I'm going to cut that. Okay, so now we're on flower placement. So you see my join area there? That's where I want my flower, so that it looks like I had no join and it's just beautiful. So to place my flower, I want it above the ridging here, okay? And I want it to hide most of my join rows all the way up to this. So I just reach through. Okay, now let's see if I can do this on camera. So see, I'm catching the gray and then I'm catching the pink. And then I'm catching the gray and I'm catching the pink. We're just going to do this all the way around. Catching the gray, catching the pink. Gray, pink. Okay, so do that all the way around, meet me back. Done it all the way around. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in between two petals. Okay, and I'm going to pull it tight. Then I'm going to flip my work over. And just on the back, I'm going to do a little knot. And make sure that the knot you make is within the pink from the flower, or whatever color your flower is. So I make a loop. I go through the same way twice with my yarn. So once, twice. Then I'm going to pull tight. And you never cut where you're not. So now I'm going to just do a few stitches. And then our hat will be done. Okay, so I cut. And there we go. There is our beautiful hat. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. If you want, you can put a little button there. I was just looking at that. Yeah, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. And I try and do videos every Thursday. So if you want to see one of my new videos, meet me on a Thursday. Talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Bye now.